It starts with your effort, the way you attack.
If they know what to do, but they can't do it.
Everyone loves to hear about the best teams in football. The Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, Los Angeles Chargers. Top 5 this. Who's in your top 5? Every freaking time it's top 5. But you know who doesn't get any love at all?
Losers!
The worst teams in the NFL, the dumpster fires, the poorly ran franchises, the teams that continuously cheddar bomb themselves that it's no longer funny to watch. But that changes tonight. But that changes today. Because for the first time ever on Hill Time Sports, we will be honoring or dishonoring the Dishonorable 5. I am your host, Trenton Hill. Let's go!
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
At number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, they've made a lot of great moves. Linderbaum, Nakobe Dean, Clay Walker, Kirk Cousins, and future quarterback Fernando Mendoza possibly going to the Raiders for the number 1 pick. You have Clint Kubiak, who just went to the Raiders. All these pieces look fine and dandy on paper, but it's going to take more than that to get them competing in the next couple of years. The Raiders lack a true number 1 receiver, not counting Brock Bowers. He's the tight end, and he missed time. Jacoby Myers was shipped to the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. The draft class is pretty thin at the position. It's top heavy, not a lot of depth, so they are going to have to rely on players like Jalen Naylor, who they just signed, Trey Tucker, and Jack Beck to throw the ball to. Not only that, but Jeanty didn't perform as well as you would hope from a number 6 overall pick. Most of that falls on the offensive line, which was atrocious. In 2025, Jeanty had 975 yards and 5 touchdowns on 3.7 yards per carry. Geno Smith gave the ball away like he was donating picks to the Goodwill, and defensively they were just middle of the pack when it came to yards, but allowed 25 points per game. I blame the offensive struggles on he who must not be named in Philadelphia. It's Chip Kelly. Because of all of that, because of all of their struggles in 2025 and the fact that they haven't had the greatest track record in 24 years, they are still the 5th worst football team in the National Football League.
You suck!
And at number 4, the Arizona Cardinals are bringing up the rear in the NFC West, who were devastated by injuries to James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Kyler Murray. The team managed to give the Titans their first win and gave us the unholy roller. Shoutouts to old Ken Stabler and the Oakland Raiders back in the day. Out goes Jonathan Gannon, and in comes Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike Murray. After inconsistent play for most of the season, is now off to Minnesota, where maybe Kevin O'Connell could fix it, but this ain't about Kyler Murray. It's about the desperation that is the Arizona Cardinals' need for a quarterback and perhaps a defense outside of 12-sack man Josh Sweat. To help with the running game, the Cardinals signed Tyler Algier to be a spark. He's younger than James Conner by a few years. And they signed Gardner Minshew to perhaps back up Jacoby Brissett or compete for the starting job. Jacoby Brissett, who despite a 1-11 record where he was the starter, had 47 completions in a game. Take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But this team looks pretty bare bones on paper, even more so than they did last year. And I had high hopes for them last year. They were horrible in the fourth quarter, They were horrible in the fourth quarter. They allowed 28.7 points per game despite Budda Baker's 120 tackles and 6.5 sacks from one 39-year-old Calais Campbell. I'm glad that he's still around. They picked 3rd in the draft, but they are definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel. Who knows? Ty Simpson looks like he might go there, according to Charles Davis, but it might be clickbait.
What do I have to do? Eat one out of the garbage?
And at number 3, and Mother, and my brother James, I am sorry to do this, but the Miami Dolphins. My reasoning, even the Browns have more playoff wins since the year 2001. You have a big, fat 0. The team started off horribly in 2025. Tua looked lost out there. Tyreek's ankle bent in ways a Kama Sutra would call too much. Jalen Waddle is gone. They had a ton of dead cap. There goes Bradley Chubb. They finished 7-10. Tua had 15 interceptions, second most in the NFL behind Geno Smith. Their lone offensive star, Devon Achane, had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. That 70-point game against the Broncos was from Satan. He lures you into a false sense of security, and then he does what he always does and screws you over.
Didn't get nothing.
You got what you were supposed to get, Blues man. Ain't nothing ever as good as we want it to be.
And he did that to you, Miami. They allowed 25 points per game. They have left Malik Willis without receivers, and Jeff Hafley has his work cut out for him. This team screams dysfunction, and I don't even trust them to draft well enough to do anything this year and possibly next year. The worst part is that it's so frustrating to watch because I love the Dolphins as not my favorite team, but a team that has some family ties. But moving on, the Cleveland Browns are the second worst team in the NFL. The only thing keeping them from being number one, Myles Garrett's sack record of 23 and a defense that most teams would kill for. Not literally, but you catch my drift.
You're gonna have to do this by yourself because there is nobody on this team that's any good.
This team in my lifetime has had 5 winning seasons. They moved their team to Baltimore, became the Ravens, and then they came back and stunk up the joint again and have let Browns fans down every single year except for those 5 years since the 1990s. But enough of the past. How did they break hearts in 2025? Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders all started for the Browns. Sanders with his 10 interceptions and 7 touchdowns actually made the Pro Bowl, which shows you just how far the Pro Bowl has fallen. Quinshon Judkins, your best offensive weapon, 827 yards and 4 touchdowns in 14 games. Now, there was a lot of receivers who just didn't catch the ball very well on this Browns team, and I'm not naming any names. I'm not going to clown on individual performances because this was a team effort. But somehow they didn't finish with the worst points per game. No, they didn't actually. They were 31st in points per game. They can't even suck correctly. 16.4 points per game. They allowed the 14th least amount of points, but this isn't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. You can't just put a Trent Dilfer out there and hope that he wins you some games. They have the number 620 pick in the 2026 draft, but seeing how they hire their coaches by having to give them written exams, they are the epitome of poverty franchises. That is except our number one team,
The damn Jets.
the New York Jets. Oh, there was promise last year. Aaron Glenn was supposed to be the savior as a coach, a defensive mind whose defense created 4 turnovers and didn't get 1 interception in 17 games. 69 quarters, 1,020 minutes without an interception. Yes, I'm counting that overtime game. Justin Fields was hurt. The team in a game faked the punt, got it on 4th and 1, and then just kneeled the ball and didn't run a play. And I forgot the Jets allowed 29 points per game, one of the worst in the league, showing that perhaps Aaron Glenn is incompetent or just doesn't have a lot to work with in New York. He's got another shot at this, but I don't expect much. They are another team that is stocked up on draft picks, but usually when you're drafting that high and you're that bad, it doesn't matter if you have 10 picks in the first round. When you repeatedly dig dastardly yourself to oblivion. Will Demario Davis provide leadership? Geno Smith is back to run. Geno Smith has written them back. Hopefully he can play better than he did in Las Vegas. I almost said Oakland. And Minkah Fitzpatrick will be trying to help at least get 1 interception this year. the Jets are just a mess. But finally, there is hope out there for all of you fans of these teams. Yes, I have stolen a concept from one, Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports.
That's right. You're a big fat phony.
But instead of curses, I offer you blessings. And hopefully, God blesses your team, whichever one it lands on. I got it right here. We have ourselves the wheel of dishonorable teams. For the first time ever. We got the Dolphins. We got the Jets. We got the Raiders. We got the Cardinals. We got the Browns. Who's it going to land on here? No! Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? I will personally pray for the Cardinals this year. In 2026, I will be praying for the Cardinals. But tell me in the comments, who do you think the worst team in the NFL is in 2026? Who do you want to be blessed? I will be spinning this all year for the worst teams in the NFL. We will do the Dishonorable 5 every weekend. Hopefully the Cardinals, who the wheel landed on, worked their way out of this swamp. But I'm at 237 subscribers. Like, subscribe, hit that bell. Adios, stay blessed. Boom, c'est la vie.